Hot Rods. Today, we're going to be working on the Suzuki again. If you've never seen this bike, I built a quad exhaust, custom rear sets, modified a bunch of stuff on it, turned it into a cafe racer. I spent less than $2,000 so far, but today's episode is going to start getting a little expensive. So, we need new tires. These are really, really bad dry rotted. Honestly, I do not know how they were able to handle 45 miles an hour. We got brand new tires. We're going to polish up the wheels, get some paint on them, and strip the bike down and start getting it ready for paint as well. Let's get to it. First thing I need to do is take this exhaust off so I can get my motorcycle jack under the frame and lift the bike up. I did custom build this exhaust. It took me somewhere between 30 and 40 hours of work to build, and I have less than $100 in the exhaust. If you want to see the video how I did that, it is on the channel. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And once I get the exhaust off, we'll get it jacked up in the air, and I'm going to remove the front and rear wheels. Okay, I got the wheels off. You can see front one, and here's the rear one, and got them off, washed them. Don't they look amazing? Now, I did wash them with Purple Power and a brush, and that cleaned up the tires pretty good. And then I got some aluminum brightener and just scrubbed them with the brush and aluminum brightener, let it sit, rinsed them, and I did that about 4 times on each side of the wheel. And then whatever stubborn oxidation was left, I came back with some Quad Zero steel wool soaked in just straight up aluminum brightener, and just kind of lightly, I didn't push super hard except in one spot, and I'll show you where, but just lightly scrubbed the oxidation until it was gone, and these wheels look phenomenal. Now, the reason I did all that took me about an hour and a half or so. It saved me a ton of time polishing. So this is now bare aluminum, chemically cleaned down to bare raw aluminum. Except for this one spot right here, which I don't know why this oxidized so bad. It's very pitted, very deep. There's nothing I can do about that spot. It's, it is what it is. It's a 50-year-old... almost 50-year-old bike, almost 50-year-old wheels. It's amazing they're in as good a shape as they are. No idea why that's like that. I imagine maybe brake fluid dripped onto that wheel a long, long time ago and maybe sat there for a long time. That's my guess. So anyway, this next step, I'm going to sit on this blanket on the floor, and I'm going to start with some mothers. Pretty happy with that. You can see side by side exactly. Aluminum brightener only. Aluminum brightener and then polished. That looks really good. Everybody, what do you think? What do you think? Does that one look better? Or does that one look better? Oh yeah. Which one looks better? He doesn't care. All right, they're done. You hear that cricket? That's because it's late. But they're finished. Well, that took a little while, but it's done. All right, I got everything hung up, blew it off, tack racked it. I just put a coat of sealer on this wheel. I'm gonna seal everything. Just some regular old gray automotive sealer. And I'm gonna mix up the paint and start spraying it on there. Look at this color. That is rich. That's gonna be beautiful on there. There's my one and only run I've found. But look at this color. Look at the way it dances on that wheel. See how it goes from dark to light? That's pretty freaking cool. I got the wheels all painted up pretty. They look good. Got my new tires mounted. They look good. Nice. I got my brake rotors and sprocket painted. Look how good that looks. Beautiful. Amazing. I've been painting the hardware that holds the brake rotor and sprockets onto the wheels. And in the meantime, I've been cleaning up the frame some more. So you can see right down here, got rid of the this little deal here that went onto the frame like that for the original foot pegs. Cleaned it up under there for the center stand mount. And I've just been cleaning up the rear passenger peg mount over there. Just kind of going along and cleaning things up. One of the things I need to clean up that looks really shitty that most people don't do is this, the top of the tree or whatever. I don't know what you call this. Whatever you call this fork assembly thing. There's a whole lot going on that doesn't need to be here. So handlebars, I don't need to mount them here anymore. I'm gonna grind these off. Pretty sure I'm gonna have a hole in the middle, but I'll fill that up with fiberglass reinforced body filler, and that'll be taken care of. And then the original speedometer mounts, I don't need them anymore, so I'm gonna grind those off as well. And I'm gonna do that off the bike because, you know, I want to use some power tools, and I'm really close to a lot of wires and cables and things I do not want to cut. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove this piece, clean it up, and show you guys what it looks like after it's cleaned up. It's gonna make things look a whole lot better up front. Just take a look at it, how busy everything is right now. Cut to it looking real nice. Let's see. Ta-da! That looks so much better, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You better think so, because I didn't get covered in metal shavings for nothing. Well, I have been doing some work off camera. Just some little small odds and ends here and there. You can see I built a tag bracket. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. It's in a good spot. It's very low profile. I think it'll be fine. It's not the sturdiest thing in the world, but as long as it doesn't sit there and vibrate all the time, I think it should be fine. And it's pretty stiff. I mean, it's just holding a tag. It should be fine. The thing I did, I kind of doodled on this a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the paint on that. So that we might have something similar to that in paint whenever I'm done. But I went and I capped this off right here. That was open before. That looks a lot better now. I built a thing to hold the ignition in the gas tank. So got a little bracket up under there, drilled a hole, got my ignition mounted. It's gonna go in there, something like that. That's how it's gonna sit. And I want to buy a little dummy light and mount it here or there. Just a little red dummy light that I'm gonna hook up to the oil pressure switch because my new gauge cluster does not have an oil pressure dummy light, and I'd like to keep that functionality because that's kind of important. I took the top off because I took the handlebars off so I could fully weld them up and finish them. Very happy with how they turned out. Looks pretty sweet. It's gonna look really good whenever it's painted. Very sturdy, very solid, and it has a cool look to it. I also welded up the old holes that center the controls, and then smoothed them out. So that, I was worried about that maybe weakening the handlebars just a little bit. You know, so I went ahead and welded them up and then grinded it down smooth. So the handlebars are ready to be cleaned up and painted. On to the next thing that I need to do, and that is I need to make a bracket and a mounting system for my seat frame here, and something a little bit more sturdy than what I had before. So what I had before was just some really thin sheet metal. It was temporary. It was never meant to be permanent, and I'll probably still use sheet metal or just a thick gauge of some sheet metal or very, very thin plate steel. I don't know where you draw the line, but I've got some 16 gauge right here. It's pretty stiff, and then I've got some thicker stuff like this that I think is 12 gauge maybe. I don't know, but I'm gonna figure that out. That's what we're doing next. I went ahead and marked that line and that line are the ends of my frame where my bolts need to be. So that's where I need my little brackets to go. So I'm gonna build something to hold the back down, and then I'm gonna do some sort of a hook and loop locking thing. And I'm probably gonna have it either in the very front up there or maybe beside the battery. I don't really wanna cover up this bolt that holds the battery tray in. So maybe I'll put it on either side, and the seat will kinda hook in and slide in and click. And then you'll put the bolts in the back, and everything will be nice and tight.
Several days later.
Well, we got the motorcycle moved over here, and I've begun stripping it down more. And I'm going to take everything off of it that I don't want to paint with the chassis and roll bar paint, because it will be shiny black. I'm not taking the motor out, but I'll mask it up when I go to paint that. But I'm getting ready to wash the bike. So I've never washed the motorcycle. All this dirt has probably been on here for 20 years. I'm gonna wash it and scuff it at the same time. I'm gonna use some Scotch-Brite pads, some Dawn soap, and some Purple Power degreaser. And that way, when it dries, all I have to do is mask everything up, blow it off, tack rack it, and I'm ready to paint. Well, we about to find out if this is gonna work. I need to be able to paint the bottom of the frame and engine, and I also need to take the bike off of the roll around engine bike stand thing, motorcycle jack. So I'm gonna set this camera up on a tripod and film this in case it falls over, because that'll make for good YouTube. Okay. It's hanging. All right. It hasn't fallen yet. Now I just need to be very, very careful. I gave it a quick little bath, and you can see how much better the engine looks. And just used some Purple Power degreaser and some Dawn soap on a brush, and just tried to scrub it as good as I could. I got all the dirt dauber nests out of the motor that I could to help with cooling, because dirt daubers love clogging up cooling fins for some reason. So I put the old spark plugs back in it that are no good, just to plug the motor. I've got tape balls, and I balled up and shoved in the intake holes and the exhaust holes. This is about as clean as this motorcycle has been since I've owned it. I got the motor looking a lot better. Aluminum brightener does wonders. So I did the forks as well, just spritzed it on there after I kind of cleaned everything. I got the front of the motor as clean as I could get it, and yeah, she's ready for masking and painting. And I'm gonna paint the engine first. I'm gonna do that tonight. We're about to go to dinner and come back. I'm gonna mask it up, gonna let this fan blow on it for the next couple of hours and let it really get everything good and dry. And come back, I'll mask up the whole bike except the engine, and then we'll paint the engine. And then tomorrow, Sunday, I'll mask up the motor and everything else, and we will paint the frame and the forks, and I'll probably hang up a couple parts like the handlebars and the rear shocks and stuff like that, and paint all that stuff as well. So yeah, gonna be exciting whenever it's all done. Got the chassis all painted up, all my brakes and everything, and looks pretty good. It's been drying for well over 24 hours, so it's very much so dry. I used a high gloss single stage, just spray paint rattle can, and very happy with how it looks. It looks newish, newer, better, better. You get what I'm saying. Oh boy, I'm out of breath. I'm taking the tire off the wheel because look at the way the tread is going. It's going around that way. It needs to be going that way. That is the left side of the wheel, which would mean the tread needs to go the other direction. Had these tires mounted and balanced at a motorcycle shop I frequent. They messed up, put it on the wrong side. It's an hour away, and all the ones around here want an arm and a leg to do one wheel. So I bought some wheel weights and borrowed this little tire tool, and we're gonna try to do it. Oreo, you gonna give me a hand? No? Okay. Anyway, this is not easy. I'm trying not to tear up my wheel. I don't think I've heard anything yet, but definitely not easy. I need some soapy water in a squirt bottle. Might be a little better. I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna just start doing motorcycle tires. Putting it on was a little easier. I'm still out of breath. Putting Dawn's soap all over the bead of the tire probably would have made everything easier from the beginning. But it's on there, and it's going the correct direction now. So I'm gonna put the valve stem back in it, and we're gonna shove some air at it, and hopefully it'll air it up. I don't know if it's gonna work, but hopefully we can beat it. Took me about 30 minutes. I think from now on I might just mount my own motorcycle tires. Just buy a couple of tire tools, because at a cheap place like where I went, it's $100 for two, or $120 for two if you need valve stems, and that wasn't that bad. I did that in like half an hour, and I've never done it before. So I only had one tire tool, so I get another tire tool. I might do that again next time, next motorcycle, not on this one, not anytime soon. Let's get to it. I'm gonna put the sprocket on. I'm gonna put the rear brake on, and then I gotta figure out how to get this hanging contraption stabilized. Probably gonna put the motorcycle jack back under it and get it strapped to that before I go and put the wheels on, because I don't want to make it heavy and break one of these straps and have it fall off the roof. So let's get to it. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode of Turtles Hot Rods. We got a whole lot accomplished. Got some wheels painted, frame, motor painted, built a bunch of custom parts. We're pretty close to getting this thing riding. going to be fun. I can't wait till it's done. If you haven't seen it before and you want to check it out and see where I got it running after it has been sitting for 20 years. Got a video on that. I built a cool exhaust for it. Did a bunch of cool stuff. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Stick around, because in a couple weeks, I'm going to have a video of it being finished. That all being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.